Live from NBC4, this is Today in L.A.
And good morning to you. Happy Monday on this February 2nd, post-Super Bowl Sunday. I'm Chris Schaubel.
And I'm Beverly White in for Jennifer Bjorklund. Let's get a check on weather this early Monday with Alita Reska. Good morning, Alita.
Good morning, Beverly and Chris. Good morning, everybody. Not only post-Super Bowl, but also Groundhog Day. We'll have more on what Punxsutawney Phil saw, whether or not he saw a shadow or didn't see a shadow. All right, right now we've got mostly clear skies across the LA basin, the Santa Clarita Valley. Cam giving us a beautiful shot there. Now, as far as radar and satellite, we are showing that the cloud cover that's trying to move onshore is beginning to weaken. We've got a nice offshore flow blowing in. It's keeping skies mostly clear. Unfortunately, we are going to be seeing some gusty winds, especially below the passes and canyons. Across the basin, occasionally breezy, but our main wind event today will be across the mountain communities of LA and Ventura County. Those of you along the coast around Malibu feeling a little bit of that breeze as well, 10 to 15 mile per hour winds. That wind advisory at least through 3 o'clock this afternoon, including the Santa Clarita Valley with wind gusts up to 45 miles an hour. Temperature readings today a little bit warmer than yesterday, especially along the coast where you can expect a warm up of about 10 degrees compared to yesterday's highs. Meanwhile, mountain communities today will remain in the mid 50s or so.
Wasn't that a good game, though?
Oh, it was excellent. Can you tell I've got sleepy eyes from staying up?
I just love it. I thought it was a great game. Good for NBC. A great Super Bowl. Love that. All right, Paul, you're starting with the 5.
Indeed we are. See if we can make it a great morning on the freeway. City Cam looking at the 5. Now this is the northbound. Headlights coming northbound of the 5 past Washington Boulevard. Heading up into the East LA interchange, already getting some heavy traffic on that Santa Ana freeway. Had a problem in Signal Hill. 405 San Diego Freeway northbound. This is right at Cherry Avenue. Had a collision. Couple of vehicles involved blocking the carpool lane now. That has been cleared to the right-hand shoulder. May still find a little spectator slowdown in both directions. Please don't forget to buckle that seatbelt. Let's go to Chris.
All right, Paul, thank you. Topping our news at 5:01. Police are trying to figure out what led to a police shootout at a strip mall in Chino. The officers were responding to a robbery in progress at Central Avenue and Walnut Street when someone opened fire. An officer was hit and at least one person was killed. Today in LA's John Caddy's Clean-Mac is live there in Chino with the very latest. Good morning, John.
Hey, good morning, Chris. That officer's in the hospital along with 2 other suspects also shot and in the hospital. And as you mentioned, one person was shot and killed here at the scene. We want to get the very latest. We have with us Michelle Vanderlinden, who is with the city of Chino. You've been here. You've been talking with police officers. Who is this person who was killed?
We are not certain at this time. We do not know what his involvement was, if any, to this crime.
So we don't know if it's a suspect or if it's just an innocent bystander?
We do not. That's under investigation right now.
Give us a recap. What happened last night?
Basically, last night at about 10:13, our dispatch received a call of an armed robbery in progress, and officers arrived here at the scene and met armed suspects. Gunfire ensued. An officer was shot, 2 suspects were shot, and a 3rd individual was shot and pronounced dead here at the scene. The 3 wounded, the officer and the 2 suspects, were transported and are receiving medical attention. And we're happy to report that the officer is in stable condition at this time. However, the medical condition of the 2 suspects remains unknown.
You're talking about 2 suspects. Are there more?
We are uncertain at this time if there are more suspects.
And they do this on a night, the Super Bowl Sunday, probably a big night for the pizza joint. Any idea what they get away with anything? How this all kind of happened?
We don't know if what kind of money was at the restaurant, and we're uncertain.
Considering what's happened here in your city, obviously, if we've got somebody who may be an innocent bystander that was shot and killed, that's pretty serious.
It is serious.
How's it investigated?
It's going to be actually investigated by the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office is going to conduct the investigation. So it'll be handled by an outside source.
Do you know anything specifically about the victim, male, female?
Male.
Age?
I do not know.
And no idea why that person was here?
No idea at this time.
All right, thanks so much for the update. We appreciate that. Once again with us, Michelle Vanderlinden, who's with the city of Chino, gave us an update as to what happened here last night. Again, we have 3 people shot and in the hospital, includes 1 officer and 2 suspects involved with the robbery. 1 person shot, a fatal shot. Still no information as to who that person is or why they were here, whether or not they were involved with the robbery itself, whether or not it was an employee of the Papa John's, or whether or not it was just an innocent bystander. We're going to try to find out that information and get that to you as soon as police are able to release that. We're live in Chino. John Caddy's Clean-Mac Today in LA.
Thanks for that, John. New developments this morning in a fatal hit and run. LA police now have a suspect in custody in the death of an 11-month-old girl. The girl's 5-year-old sister and her mother were also injured in the incident. The car struck the three of them yesterday evening as they were crossing at Bonnie Bray Street and Olympic Boulevard in the Westlake District. Today in LA's Robert Kovacic is live with more. Robert?
His name is Henry Moreno. He is a 30-year-old man from Southgate. And as you take a look at video we shot just a few minutes ago from the scene at Bonnie Bray near Olympic, you will see that the investigation still continues. But Mr. Moreno was found right near there at Bonnie Bray and James M. Woods last night. And that is where they took him into custody and where he is in custody right now, a suspect in what happened last night at around 6 o'clock in the evening. A mother pushing a stroller, and inside of that stroller were her two daughters, an 11-month-old and a 5-month-old. And as we look at that video of the crime scene shortly thereafter, the two girls in that stroller were struck apparently by the car, police say, driven by Henry Moreno. Moreno went through the crosswalk where they were, struck those two girls in the stroller and the mother, and kept on going. The 11-month-old girl died at the hospital. Her 5-year-old sister is in critical but stable condition. The mother only had minor injuries. Again, they were in a legal crosswalk. Other cars had stopped, but apparently the car driven by Moreno didn't stop. It did stop, however, downtown near the LA Live Plaza. And that is where surveillance video captured the car being abandoned by now allegedly Henry Moreno. And you see right there, the car will stop and a man is seen running from that car, abandoning that vehicle, allowing police to find that vehicle, to trace it to the owner. Now, we don't know if he is actually the owner of this vehicle or if he was driving someone else's car. That remains to be seen. Right now, the suspect is in Parker Center. He is in custody, and police tell us he has been booked for vehicular manslaughter. We're live this morning in the Westlake District. I'm Robert Kovacic, today in LA.
Thanks, Robert. Long Beach police are searching for the person who killed a 76-year-old grandmother. The body of Liam Sylvanasi was discovered in her Long Beach bedroom Saturday morning. Police say she had multiple stab wounds. The victim shared the home in the 1400 block of Peterson Avenue with relatives. Family members say they don't understand how anyone could hurt an elderly woman with such a loving spirit.
I don't know who in the world in the right mind could kill an innocent old lady. She always smiles, she's always fun to be around with, except only when the Lakers lose. That's the only time she's not fun to be with.
And her son is planning to take her to her first Lakers game next month. An autopsy will be conducted in the next few days. Chris?
California's budget crisis has entered a new chapter. Lawmakers in Sacramento missed the February 1st budget deadline, and that means state tax refund checks will arrive late this year. Governor Schwarzenegger has put a hold on all outgoing payments, including tax refunds, student grant money, and funds for state social programs. The governor says he will also move forward with plans to furlough more than 200,000 state workers. State lawmakers have been struggling to bridge a projected $42 billion deficit.
President Obama hosted a small bipartisan Super Bowl gathering at the White House yesterday, but today it's back to business on the economic stimulus proposal. The Senate opens debate on its version of the package this morning. Brooke Hart has the very latest from Washington.
President Obama hosted a bipartisan team of lawmakers to watch the Super Bowl, and increasingly he sounds like a referee in the stimulus debate, with NBC's Matt Lauer before the game.
We're going to be trimming out things that are not relevant to putting people back to work right now.
That's the key Republican demand.
So I think you have to start from scratch and reconstruct this.
Critics point to $300+ million in the Senate plan to prevent sexually transmitted diseases, $25 million to spruce up trails for ATVs. But more proposals add to the plan than subtract from it. GOP senators won their call to shield more Americans from the alternative minimum tax. That adds $70 billion to the cost. And Democrats seem open to adding a $15,000 tax credit for home buyers.
This will pass with Republican votes because it's a good package and because we will make some changes around the edges.
On the Obama cabinet front, Health and Human Services nominee Tom Daschle today goes to senators privately to ease concerns about his tax troubles. More than $100,000 he did not pay for a car and driver provided by a friend. Most lawmakers are holding back on whether the nomination is in jeopardy.
It may be. I want to find out more about it.
As early as today, the president could nominate Republican Senator Judd Gregg of New Hampshire as Commerce Secretary. That could edge Democrats toward a filibuster-proof majority in the Senate. Even so, President Obama is expected to prod top Democrats toward a stimulus compromise when he meets with them at the White House this afternoon. His schedule is fluid this week, aides say, so he can help get the plan passed. In Washington, Brooke Hart for Today in L.A.
They were celebrating well into the night in Pittsburgh after the Steelers made a last-minute touchdown against the Cardinals to win the Super Bowl. I'm sure you saw it. Steelers fans jammed the streets to celebrate their 27-23 Super Bowl victory. Their second one in 4 years, 6th overall. That's a record, by the way. It was a party mood as the crowds lit small fires and set off fireworks. Despite a few minor problems, police say the fans were mostly well-behaved. Fred Rogan will have a full wrap-up of Super Bowl 43 right after the break.
And coming up, a leader will tell us about big changes in our weather for this week.
But first, let's take you outside, give you a live look at downtown Los Angeles. Traffic moving quite well along the 110 in both directions. Full check of your entire commute in only 3 minutes. The time right now, 5:10.
Good morning and welcome back to Today in LA. Happy Monday to you at 5:12 this morning. Reporting pretty nice conditions out there. LAX cam showing mostly clear skies. As far as temperature readings, let's go to neighborhood weather and check some of our observation sites at this hour. Altadena right now 52 degrees, 52 as well in Beaumont. Chatsworth, good morning to you, low 60s as you head outside the door this morning, 54 in Corona. Topping the weather headlines for today, it looks like we're going to see some changes, at least for the first half of the week. Offshore flow returns, and that's going to result in some strong gusty winds below the passes and canyons especially. We do have a wind advisory in effect for the LA Ventura County mountain areas as well as Santa Clarita with local wind gusts anywhere between 40 to 45 miles per hour, sustained winds between 15 to 30. Brief warming trend today and tomorrow with highs in some of our inland valley locations still in the low 80s, slightly warmer than yesterday, especially warmer in some of our coastal areas, about 10 degrees warmer than yesterday's highs. By the middle of the week, we start to get more of a marine influence, and with that onshore flow also comes the potential for some rain in the forecast. The rain will start moving in Thursday morning across portions of LA and Ventura County, but the brunt of the rain moving in for Friday and Saturday with another storm system. Temperature readings eventually cooling off to below normal temperatures for Thursday into Friday. That's a look at your forecast for now. Let's get a check of that morning commute with Paul Johnston.
And a good morning. Looking at one of our city cams, eastbound 60, Pomona Freeway, Greenwood. A little heavier on the westbound side as you head in toward the East LA interchange, so be extra careful out there this morning. Problem clearing now down in Signal Hill. Northbound of the 405 at Cherry Avenue had that collision in the carpool lane. Still some activity on the right-hand shoulder. Still may find a little spectator slowdown. And traveling eastbound of the 10, the San Bernardino Freeway, right at Baldwin Park Boulevard, there is a box in the middle lanes for you to watch out for. Please be careful. Don't forget to buckle that seatbelt.
This is the NBC4 Sports Desk with Fred Rogan.
Hello again. It was a Super Bowl for the ages. Arizona Cardinals looked like they were finished, done after 3 quarters of play, only to come back and take the lead. But the Pittsburgh Steelers put together a stunning final drive to record their 6th Super Bowl victory for the first team to win 6 Super Bowls. Holmes, your MVP.
This has been the NBC4 Sports Desk with Fred Rogan.
Beverly and I both agree. James Harrison's touchdown run back, that was the play of the game. All right, a live look from our crush cam in Orange County. Full check of traffic only 5 minutes from now. Feel free to debate our opinion. Time right now, 5:17.
Welcome back. We'll check traffic in just about 2 minutes. Meanwhile, 4 people were killed in a fiery crash on the 215 freeway. The crash happened yesterday in Colton. The California Highway Patrol says for some reason, a Chevrolet Cavalier came to a stop in the number 3 lane of the freeway. A Toyota 4Runner then rear-ended the car. Investigators say the Cavalier burst into flames and all 4 people inside were killed. The driver of the Toyota was taken to the hospital with minor injuries.
Police say a helicopter carrying rocker Tommy Lee was forced to land after coming too close to an LAPD helicopter. Investigators say Lee's helicopter was flying erratically and veered too close to a police chopper over Glendale yesterday. Now, the pilot was ordered to land at Van Nuys Airport. Once on the ground, police say the pilot was taken to the Van Nuys station and later released. Investigators say Tommy Lee was just a passenger on that helicopter and had nothing to do with the situation.
LA City firefighters made quick work of a brush fire near La Tuna Canyon Park. The fire broke out yesterday afternoon. City crews battled the flames from the ground and the air. About 20 acres were scorched by the flames. No evacuations were ordered and no structures were damaged. Investigators believe a car fire touched off the brush fire.
And at 5:20, Paul is checking out the 405.
Indeed we are. Here's one of our city cams looking at the southbound taillights heading southbound of the 405. As you head down now past Mulholland Drive, heading down into the Sepulveda Pass, fairly easy drive for you, both directions on that San Diego freeway so far this morning. On the 405, down to Signal Hill, northbound San Diego freeway, right at Cherry Avenue, accident, still some activity on the right shoulder. Expect a little slowdown in both directions out there this morning. And traveling southbound of the 110 Pasadena freeway into downtown, right at Stadium Way, there is a tire in the middle lanes, also slowing that southbound 5 Golden State Freeway back toward the 2 freeway. Don't forget to buckle that seatbelt. All right, let's check the weather. Understand some rain's coming. Here's Alita.
That's right. It looks like we are going to be seeing more of a wet pattern later on in the week. But for the first half of the week, nice Chamber of Commerce type weather. Get you going on this first full week of February. As we take you outside, I want to show you what's happening right now around the downtown area. Mostly clear skies. Nice and cool as temperatures at this hour starting off mainly into the 50s. Maybe a few spots, especially those of you waking up around the Antelope Valley, Apple Valley area. That's where we're finding temperatures in the upper 30s to low 40s. But let me show you what's happening, talk about the changes that we'll be seeing this week. Offshore flow returns for today. We've got a couple of areas of high pressure that will keep us under a fairly calm, quiet pattern with the exception of the winds today. We do have a wind advisory in effect as those winds will be shifting more out of the north and east instead of west to east like we saw over the weekend. We did experience some slight cooling over the weekend, about 10 degrees warmer along the coastal areas today with this offshore wind. But here's where we're tracking some changes. Area of low pressure already developing out here in the eastern Pacific that will slowly drift closer to our coast by the middle of the week. But the rain chances are going to hold off until Thursday, Friday into Saturday. Temperature readings today with the influence of that sunshine in the mid to upper 70s to low 80s, 81 degrees downtown Los Angeles, about 3 degrees warmer than yesterday, 79 in Oxnard, nice and cool. Mild ratings around Santa Barbara with 73 degrees. Take a look at the work week, looking pretty nice the next couple of days, albeit a little bit windy. The winds start to taper off by the middle of the week. The rain chances move in by the latter half. More of Today in LA after the break.
Welcome back. Problems for the U.S. auto industry are not only having an impact there in Detroit,
also having a ripple effect in the Inland Empire as well. Let's go live right now to the K-Frog studios in Colton. That's where the Frogmen, Scott and Tommy, standing by. Good morning, guys.
And good morning to you. Yeah, you know, already we've had about a dozen inland dealerships that have closed in the last year. So there's an example of how it's hitting real close to home.
You know, it all trickles down, and it takes a lot of parts to make a car, and many of those vehicle parts are actually contracted out to small independent companies, including some right here at home in Riverside and San Bernardino counties.
Most of these are small businesses, the classic small business with 100 or fewer employees, and they're really wondering what business is going to be like in another 6 months, especially if GM and Chrysler go ahead and rework some of the vendor deals that they've got in place.
For instance, Sunstone Components Group, which is a Temecula company that makes metal and plastic parts used in airbag sensors and other kinds of equipment in the auto industry, they used to have about 175 employees, but because of the downturn in the industry right now, they're down to 98 employees.
California Manufacturing Technology Consulting says that work for the makers of car parts was already off about 30%. Now, this was before any restructuring deals were announced. So a lot of the mom and pop, these small businesses, the mom and pop part suppliers, they're probably going to get hit pretty hard with this thing.
They're going to probably have to think about making something else. So here's hoping that $13.4 billion bridge loans that GM and Chrysler have applied for, the restructuring that Ford is talking about, helps the little guys too.
Hey, one other thing too, we caught the 60th anniversary celebration for NBC4. Congratulations.
Happy anniversary.
Love looking at all the video, but what is it, the shadow on my face? Is that why you didn't use us? We were just wondering.
Here's the thing, pal. You got to be here. You know what? What's funny? I've been here 8 years, and I'm still a rookie around here. Everyone around this town, especially in this station, has been here. How long have you been here, Bev?
Longer than I care to admit.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, like you got 20 and 30-year veterans, so just stick around a while, you'll make it.
All right, 20 years. You're on.
We'll
You're
be there.
on.
We'll be back.
All right, guys, have a great day.
Thanks so much. Right now, this morning's top stories today in LA.
Good morning. I'm Robert Kovalsik in the Westlake District. It happened about an hour ago. A man arrested in a fatal hit-and-run driver that left a 5-year-old girl dead.
And good morning, I'm John. Kathy's Klimak in Chino happened more than an hour ago. In fact, late last night, one person shot and killed, 3 others wounded, including a police officer. We have that story coming up as well.
Another warm-up in store for the Southland today, along with those winds. But get ready, we are gearing up for some changes by the weekend. We'll detail that coming up.
And starting to get a few more problems on our freeway system. Have an accident on the Santa Monica Freeway, the 10 that'll slow you down. Live Drive 40 traffic and much more. All coming up straight ahead. Stay with us.
Live from NBC4. This is Today in LA.
Good morning. It's Monday, February 2nd. I'm Beverly White in for Jennifer Bjorklund.
And I'm Chris Schaubel. Good morning to you on this Monday, post-Super Bowl Sunday. We know you're rubbing the sleep out of your eyes, getting over those fun adult libations you may have partaken.
Maybe.
Here's Alita with your forecast.
Yeah, those brownies, I tell you what. I'm feeling that
Libations.
this morning. Exactly. All right, good morning, everybody. Starting off this morning with some clear and cool readings, a little bit breezy in parts of LA and Ventura County. Those of you waking up closer to the foothills and mountain communities will be experiencing some of the stronger winds later on today. We do have some wind advisories to go over. But first, let's take a look at some of those numbers. If you're getting ready to head outside the door, grab those keys. 44 degrees right now in the Chino area, 46 in Santa Ana, low 50s around the LAX area, upper 50s in Oxnard. You can see the radar and satellite composite. As far as cloud cover, that offshore wind keeping clouds at bay, maybe just a few scattered clouds around the Oxnard area. Otherwise, we're talking winds today. Winds and the warmth. LA and Ventura County, excluding the Santa Monica Range and Santa Clarita Valley through 3 o'clock this afternoon. We are anticipating some stronger winds. Temperature readings this afternoon, much warmer along the coast, taking it up about 10 degrees warmer than yesterday in the upper 70s, low 80s downtown in the valleys and some of our warmer desert spots, mountain communities in the San Bernardino area in the mid-50s there.
Yeah, some of the guys in the booth in the control room enjoying your leftover brownies right now as we speak. They love Super Bowl leftovers. All right, Alita, thanks.
Thanks, Alita. Let's check the morning drive with Paul Johnson.
And in your morning drive, thought we'd take a look at the crush cam, looking at the 5 as you head southbound. As you leave the 22 with the Garden Grove Freeway, headlights coming northbound on the Santa Ana Freeway. A little heavy traffic, but still moving pretty well this morning. Trouble on the 10, Santa Monica Freeway westbound. Others right of Fairfax Avenue. Have an accident there. A couple of vehicles in the middle lanes. Beginning to get some heavy traffic now on the westbound side of that Santa Monica Freeway. Overnight roadwork still a problem. Eastbound of the 105, transition to that northbound 710, the Long Beach Freeway, that is shut down. Not expected to open up until about 6 o'clock this morning. So how do you get around the problem? Living Spaces Furniture traffic tip. That's how. Off the 105, head north on Long Beach Boulevard, east on Imperial Highway, and back to that northbound 710. That's going to save you a little time this morning. Enjoy your drive. Don't forget to buckle that seatbelt. Let's go to Beverly.
Thanks, Paul. Police in Chino are trying to confirm the identity of a person killed during an officer-involved shooting. Police say someone opened fire when the officers responded to a robbery call near Century Avenue and Walnut Street. An officer was hit. Another person was killed. Today in LA's John Katty's Klimak is live in Chino with the very latest. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Bev. We're actually on Century right now. It's closed off to traffic because of the investigation that's happening here behind me. I want to take you to some video from overnight to show you the activity that was happening. Around 10:30 last night is when officers got the call. There was a robbery at a Papa John's pizza joint. They're saying now that it's possible that the robbers attempted to do this because it was such a big night, being Super Bowl Sunday. There's probably a lot of cash in the register. However, they're not saying whether or not these suspects got away with any money. What they will say is that once police arrived, there was a shootout, an exchange between officers and the suspects. Two of the suspects were shot. One officer was shot. The 3 of them all taken to area hospitals. There was also one other person that was shot, a male shot and fatally killed in this shootout. Police, though, are not saying who that person was. We spoke with a witness overnight who had this to say.
I was walking down from the gas station where my fiance works, and I got about by this pizza place, and I started hearing gunfire, and I looked over, I was kind of running over towards this corner, and it seemed there's one guy who got shot in the head and face down right over by the south side of the Stanley store, and another guy got shot apparently, but I guess they were robbing that pizza place.
Now, police aren't saying for sure, but they are mentioning that because there was a shootout, there were quite a few rounds that were released here. Again, 3 people in the hospital, 2 of them suspects, 1 of them a police officer, and 1 person shot and killed here. We also do not know yet whether or not police are looking for any more suspects. We're live in Chino. I'm John Kelly's Klimak today in LA.
All right, John, thanks. Time right now is 5:34. A suspect is now in custody in the hit-and-run death of an 11-month-old girl. Her mother and sister were hit and injured as well as the driver sped away. It happened at Bonnie Brae and Olympic yesterday in the Westlake District near downtown Los Angeles. Today in LA's Robert Kovacic is live at the Rampart Police Station with the very latest. Robert.
Chris, that suspect's name is Henry Moreno. He is a 30-year-old from Southgate, arrested this morning even as the investigation continues at Bonnie Brae and Olympic. Detectives were out there around 4:30 this morning when this video was taken, and that was just about the time Moreno was arrested. He was taken into custody at James Woods and Bonnie Brae. That was just 1 block from the crosswalk he allegedly plowed through last night at Bonnie Brae and Olympic. It was there at around 6:30 when a mother was pushing a stroller carrying 2 young girls through that legal, well-marked crosswalk. A 1991 black Honda hit the stroller and the mother, an 11-month-old girl pronounced dead at a nearby hospital, her 5-year-old sister in critical condition but will survive, the mother with minor injuries. Other cars stopped at that crosswalk, but not the black Honda. It kept going until it hit downtown Los Angeles, stopping at 12th and Figueroa. And at 12th and Figueroa, do we have that video of the surveillance tape? This is the surveillance tape from the LA Live Plaza. That's right near where the Nokia is, right across the street from Staples Center. You will see that shortly thereafter, you see a car, that 1991 black Honda, stop there, and a man gets out. No, he runs out, abandoning that car. That allowed investigators to identify that car and get to work.
We have homicide detectives, central traffic detectives, Rampart officers. They're all working together. They're all going to different locations, the registered owner's location, the last owner of the vehicle's location, trying to find out who is the owner of the vehicle.
Now, we don't know if Henry Moreno is actually the owner of the vehicle, that 1991 Honda. But investigators have taken him into custody just about an hour ago, and he will be booked for vehicular manslaughter. Live this morning in the Westlake District, I'm Robert Kovacic, today in LA.
Thanks, Robert. Several Los Angeles police officers,
I'll take it. Several LA police officers accused of committing perjury in a drug case are now being investigated by the FBI. The LA Times says investigators are looking into the 2000 arrest of Guillermo Alarcon Jr. Alarcon's a lawyer. His attorney says his client was framed by the officers who took him into custody. Drug charges against Alarcon were abruptly dropped during his trial last year when jurors viewed a surveillance tape that directly contradicted police testimony. Now, the officers have denied doing anything wrong. The LA County DA's office and the LAPD are also investigating the case.
And arraignment is set today for an Orange County man who prosecutors say fled to Korea after a deadly hit-and-run crash. Yoon Bum Lee was extradited to Southern California on this plane last Friday. He's accused of vehicular manslaughter and felony hit-and-run after an October 2005 crash on the Costa Mesa Freeway. 23-year-old Ryan Cook of Huntington Beach was killed when his motorcycle allegedly slammed into a car driven by the suspect. Investigators say Yoon Bum Lee's car was stopped in the carpool lane with the lights off at the time. They also say Lee and some co-workers had been out drinking before the crash. Prosecutors say Lee flew to Korea to try and avoid prosecution.
New contract talks between the Screen Actors Guild, SAG, and producers are set to resume this week with some new players in place. The two sides are sitting down for the very first time since SAG changed its negotiating team. Last week, SAG members elected a more moderate board and fired their chief negotiator. The moderate faction pushed for more negotiations rather than authorizing a strike vote. They doubted they would get the required 75% needed, weakening their own bargaining position. The agreement between the actors' union and the producers expired last week.
Well, Kaiser Permanente says the octuplets born 1 week ago in Bellflower are all doing well this morning. A statement released yesterday by the hospital says all 8 babies are being tube-fed donated breast milk. They're also receiving an intravenous nutritional supplement. The mother is also apparently in good condition. She's expected to be released from Kaiser in the next few days. Doctors say the babies will remain at the hospital for at least a month.
Well, beautiful weather over the weekend. We all know that. But rain this week. Alita has your forecast next.
But first, a live look. There it is. Beautiful downtown Los Angeles. Live Drive 4D traffic only 3 minutes away. The time is 5:39. We'll be right back.
5:41 on a Monday morning. Welcome back to Today in LA. Happy Groundhog Day. The world's most famous groundhog has seen his shadow, which, as legend has it, means this already long winter will last for 6 more weeks. Check them out. Punxsutawney Phil's forecast was announced in front of thousands of revelers gathered at Gobbler's Knob in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania this morning. Yes, they gathered in near freezing temperatures, and there we're watching it. Oh, cute little guy. Yeah, meanwhile, back here at home, winter has been pretty non-existent. Maybe a handful of days where we've seen below normal temperatures. Yeah, it's some great video. Wow. Post-Super Bowl, folks, still there that early in the morning. Pretty amazing. All right, let's take a look at our weather conditions back here at home, neighborhood weather, as we go to that. Checking in right now in the Duarte area, 49 degrees, 52 degrees around the downtown area. Winds remain pretty calm here, but we are seeing some gusty conditions around Rancho Cucamonga with 22-mile-per-hour wind gusts. 66 degrees right now, Thousand Oaks with 63 degrees, and at this hour, clocking in with 16-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Wind advisories are up this morning for LA and Ventura County mountain communities, as well as the Santa Clarita Valley, at least through 3 o'clock this afternoon. For wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour. You can expect a brief warm-up this afternoon. 80s around the inland and valley locations. We'll keep those 80-degree readings through tomorrow, and then by Wednesday, that onshore flow returns. And as that high weekends, it's going to open the doors for some big changes Thursday into Friday and possibly into the weekend. We've got some wetter days ahead, some cooler days as well. We're talking 20 degrees to 30 degrees cooler by the end of the week and for this weekend. 77 degrees today along the coast, low 80s downtown and in the valleys, and you can see the downward slide of those temperatures as we continue through the latter half of the week. Even some snow expected. We'll start off about above the 6,000 foot level Thursday night into Friday, and with a secondary system arriving Friday night into Saturday, we'll see those snow levels right around the 4,000 foot level. So a lot to look forward to this week. We'll be talking more about that storm in detail in days to come. All right, that's a check of your forecast. Time now for a check of your morning commute with Paul Johnson.
And starting to get a few more problems out of the freeways this morning. Heavy traffic on the 5 Santa Ana Freeway. This is the northbound side coming up past Washington Boulevard as you head up toward the 710 of the East LA interchange. Getting some pretty heavy and slow traffic out there this morning. Starting to get some heavy traffic on the 10 Santa Monica Freeway. Interstate 10 westbound, right at Fairfax Avenue. Injury accident. There are a couple of vehicles. That is in the middle lane. Starting to get some heavy traffic now back beyond Western Avenue. Coming southbound on the 110 Pasadena Freeway. This is right at Stadium Way. There's a tire in the middle lane for you to watch out for. Look at the southbound 5 Golden State Freeway from the 2 down to the 110 Pasadena Freeway. Already some pretty heavy traffic out there this morning. Take your time. Don't forget to buckle that seatbelt. Let's go to Beverly.
Thanks, Paul. This morning, police are looking for the gunman who opened fire on a home in South L.A., injuring a 6-year-old girl inside. It happened late Friday night at a home on East 22nd Street, very close to Central Avenue. Police say the girl was sitting inside her home playing with other children when shots were fired through the front of the house. The girl was hit in the back. This morning, doctors will only say her condition is stable. Police are asking for anyone with information about the shooting to please come forward.
This morning, a strong message to Governor Schwarzenegger from students and faculty of one Cal State campus. They planned budget cuts. The ones that are planned are hurting their education, they say. Funding for higher education already is affecting the Cal State and University of California systems. Universities within those systems are streamlining faculty and student admissions as well as services. This morning, protesters will gather on the campus of Cal State Dominguez Hills. They will hold a rally calling on Governor Schwarzenegger to stop the budget cuts. The demonstrators also will fax their concerns to the governor during the rally.
And Caltrans is opening bids today on a new carpool lane along the 10 freeway. This HOV lane, you'll see it there on the map, will be along the San Bernardino Freeway in Baldwin Park. Caltrans already has the green light on the project, saying it will not be affected by the state's current financial troubles. The money for the extra lane was already received prior approval by the California Transportation Commission. Caltrans is expecting a large turnout of contractors to make bids because of the limited work in other areas.
Once again, let's take you outside, give you a live look from the airport this morning at LAX. Full check of your commute 5 minutes from now. The time right now on this Monday morning, 5:46. Be right back. Welcome back. Time right now is 5:48. It was a nail-biter to say the least. Super Bowl 43 being called already one of the greatest NFL championships ever.
And with everything on the line, the Steelers pulled out a win with seconds to spare. Kristen Dahlgren was there for all the action on the gridiron in Tampa, and she's got the highlights.
Setting 6th Super Bowl.
And the Pittsburgh Steelers become the first franchise in history to win 6 Super Bowls.
A fantastic finish to a game that made history, but may well be remembered for what is being called one of the most exciting endings ever.
And even if you are one of those disappointed Cardinals fans, if you're a fan of the game of football, you really have to appreciate that as one of the best games in history. And if you're one of those people who likes to watch for the commercials, there was a big win for one of those commercials as well. Doritos had an amateur ad contest. They submitted people submitted their ads from around the country. Doritos picked 5 finalists. They ran 2 of those ads in the Super Bowl, and they told the guys, if one of them wins the USA Today ad meter and gets the most popular commercial of the Super Bowl, we will give you $1 million. Well, guess what? 2 unemployed brothers from Batesville, Indiana submitted their ad. It ran. It was the most popular, and so they are getting $1 million. That's the latest. Live in Tampa, I'm Kristen Dahlgren. Kristen, Jennifer, back to you.
Okay, actually, it's Beverly this morning, but that's all right, Kristen. I know you're.
Sorry, Beverly.
That's all right. Call me anything but late to supper.
I've been up a long time.
And I bet you've had a very long weekend. I'm just curious about the numbers. It's my understanding the Steelers fans way outnumbered the Cardinals fans in Tampa. Is that true?
Yeah, from being in the stadium, a lot more of those terrible towels than seeing red. It was a lot of yellow and black. You know what I think happened is Steelers fans are kind of used to being in the Super Bowl. The Cardinals fans not expecting it, and so at the last minute, it may have been hard for some of them to make the plans to come here. They're really not used to having a team that's that good.
Oh.
And Kristen, what about the NBC camera guy? Is he roaming around the grounds there, the one that Bruce Springsteen did the knee slide into and literally slammed into the camera during the halftime show?
Yeah, I haven't heard yet what happened to him this morning or how the boss is feeling after that one. It looked like it might be a little bit painful. He was going a bit faster, I think, than he wanted to go.
Yeah, I think he misjudged it just a little bit. All right, Kristen Dahlgren from Tampa, thank you so much.
All right, so good to hear from you, Kristen. Sounds like a lot of fun. Time now for your live drive. 4D traffic. Speaking of fun, here's Paul Johnson.
No, not much fun on the 10. Santa Monica Freeway, new start before over the 10. Santa Monica Freeway westbound at La Brea. Have an accident. You can see the vehicle in the 2 right-hand lanes. Beginning to get some pretty heavy traffic now on the Santa Monica Freeway. Look at the headlights, jammed up solid westbound. Get slow back around the Harbor Freeway. 57 Freeway, heading up into Diamond Bar, northbound 57. Right at Diamond Bar Boulevard, now there's some metal debris across all lanes. Traffic swerving to avoid that, and that is causing some slowdowns. Take your time. Don't forget to buckle that seatbelt. Let's check some weather changes coming up. Here's Alita.
All right, thanks, Paul. 5:53 on a Monday morning, and right now the changes that we're finding are those winds picking up before they start to calm down by the middle of the week. Right now, let's take you outside. This is a live look, courtesy of our Venice Beach cam, pointing towards some of the beautiful homes there. Under mostly clear skies through much of the Southland. Temperature readings right now generally in the 40s and low 50s. As we take a look at the maps, showing you some of those numbers around the LA and Ventura County area. Temperatures right now around Simi Valley, 54 degrees, as well as Hidden Hills. Good morning to you in Oxnard, 59 degrees. Port Hueneme in the upper 50s there. Area of high pressure once again over the Great Basin will help to bring in those strong winds, that northeasterly wind, some very dry, warm air over the next 24 to 48 hours will bump up the temperature readings along the coast today, a good 10 degrees warmer than yesterday. And then by the middle of the week, we'll start to see that high weakening, and it's going to allow this area of low pressure over the eastern Pacific that's developing now to slowly begin to drift toward the west coast, and that's going to bring some much-needed change around here. Some rain in the forecast Thursday, Friday, Saturday, with much of that rain coming to an end on Sunday. A couple of weather systems that will be moving through Southern California, and we'll track it all for you. 80 degrees this afternoon in the Irvine area. Low 80s as well across the Inland Empire, Palm Springs, mid to upper 60s in the Apple Valley, Antelope Valley location, 79 today in Glendale, Burbank, downtown Los Angeles in the low 80s, as well as Northridge, Woodland Hills, one of our warmer valley spots at 82. Mid-70s in Ventura. And here you can see the trend for tomorrow. High pressure starts to weaken a little bit tonight. We'll see temperatures drop a little bit along the coastline, but noticeably cooler by Wednesday. Temperatures remain pretty status quo downtown and in the valleys tomorrow, and then temperatures really starting to back off Thursday and Friday. The chance for some snow above the 6,000 foot level beginning on Thursday, and then dropping to the 4,000 foot level Friday night into Saturday with that secondary storm system. That's a look at your 7-day outlook. Hope you have a great day. Back to you, Beverly.
Thanks, Alita. The Southern California Gas Company, reached a tentative agreement with a union representing nearly 5,000 workers. The move averts a possible strike that could have started as early as today. Union officials say the tentative contract deal includes a 3-step wage increase of more than 10%. It also preserves workers' pension plans and sick time benefits. The current contract was extended to February 28th. That's when the tentative agreement can be ratified. The gas company serves about 20 million customers in Southern California.
A Google glitch created some disturbing moments for users of the popular internet search engine over the weekend. For about 40 minutes on Saturday morning, Google users received an error message each time they performed a search. The message warned users that the website could harm their computer. Google officials say the error happened when technicians tried to update Google's list of websites that contain what's known as malware. Google says it is working to ensure that the problem never happens again.
Well, the naming rights of the New York Mets' new ballpark by Citibank is now being called into question. The ballpark opens in April and is named Citi Field after Citigroup Bank spent $400 million for the privilege. Now, some members of Congress and others are demanding that Citigroup get out of the stadium naming business because it just cost $45 billion in taxpayer money to help it stay afloat. Critics say that money should go to help repay the bank's debt. Both the Mets and Citigroup say it's already a done deal, but this name game may not be over yet.
Well, 2 unemployed brothers from Indiana are getting a lot of publicity and a big check for creating the most popular Super Bowl ad this year. Take a look.
Free Doritos at the office today? I think that's a yes!
Well, the off-the-wall commercial, Free Doritos, features a guy, as you can see right there, who shatters a vending machine with his crystal ball after predicting free Doritos for everyone in the office. I love that one, too. That was hilarious. Brothers entered the spot as part of an online contest for amateurs. It was voted #1 by USA Today's annual Super Bowl ad meter. The prize, a $1 million check from Frito-Lay. The ad put the brakes on a 10-year winning streak by Anheuser-Busch.
Well, still ahead today at L.A.
Good morning. I'm Robert Kovalsik in the Westlake District. That hit-and-run driver that plowed through a crosswalk, killing an 11-month-old girl, is now in custody.
And here's a live look from News Chopper 4. It's above a problem on the 10 through the Mid-City area. Weather and traffic just a couple of minutes away. Time right now, 5:57.
Live from NBC4. This is Today in L.A.
And good morning to you on this Monday, February the 2nd. I'm Chris Schaubel.
And I'm Beverly White. In for Jennifer Bjorklund. It is 6 a.m. on Groundhog Day. Let's say good morning to Alita Loresco.
All right, thanks, Beverly. Good morning, everybody. Happy post-Super Bowl. Those of you still wiping out the sleepies like me. This morning, we are dealing with mostly clear, cool conditions, a little bit windy out there. Live look at the Venice Beach area, beginning to see the skies brightening a bit, still about an hour away from the official rise of the sun. Temperature readings right now, nice and cool. The winds have been picking up around the Santa Clarita Valley area, 17-mile-per-hour winds there. 11-mile-per-hour winds around Fontana. So not too strong, but still calling it breezy. 12-mile-per-hour winds across the Malibu area. Otherwise, mostly calm. Through 3 o'clock this afternoon, we do have a wind advisory now up for LA and Ventura County mountain areas, as well as the Santa Clarita Valley. Sustained winds between 15 to 30 miles per hour with wind gusts up to 45. This afternoon, temperature readings in the upper 70s along the coast, low 80s downtown, and in the warmest valley locations, desert spots anywhere in the mid to upper 70s to low 80s, and mountain areas in the mid 50s. We're looking as temperatures will eventually start to head downward by the middle of the week, and then the chance for some rain Thursday as well.
And we need it.
Yes,
So, yay. All right. Alita, thank you. Time now to check traffic with trafficologist Paul Johnson.
And we got a little problem on that 10 Santa Monica Freeway. We're looking westbound of the 10. This is right at La Brea. You can still see that vehicle sideways in the right-hand lane. Flatbed tow truck is at the scene. Very heavy traffic. Now look at that slowdown. You're going to start hitting the brakes back around the Harbor Freeway. Stays heavy and slow past La Brea in toward the 405. So it's going to spend a little extra time on that Santa Monica Freeway. Some debris problems now in Diamond Bar, northbound 57, right at Diamond Bar Boulevard. Some metal debris across all lanes, still getting that cleared. Going to find a bit of a slowdown out there in both directions. Earlier problem on the 110 southbound Pasadena Freeway Stadium Way. Had a tire in the number 2 lane. That has finally been cleared, so traffic there getting back to normal again. Take your time. Don't forget to buckle that seatbelt, and please remember to use those turn signals. Let's go to Chris.
All right, Paul, thank you. Topping our news at 6:02 this morning, police are holding a man in custody this morning for a fatal hit and run that left an 11-month-old girl dead and injured her mother and her 5-year-old sister. It happened last night in the Westlake area at Bonnie Bray and Olympic. A car hit the woman and her 2 girls as they were crossing the street. She was pushing a stroller across that street. Today in LA's Robert Kovacic live at Rampart Station with the latest details. Robert.
Chris, from the moment this happened, the LAPD has not stopped. And just a short time ago, they have a suspect in custody. He is a 30-year-old man from Southgate. His name is Henry Moreno. Arrested even as detectives this morning were still busy out at the scene. As you look at video that we shot at around 4:30, as investigators were measuring the distance across this legal crosswalk, just about the same time that Moreno was taken into custody. He was arrested at James Woods and Bonnie Bray. That was just 1 block from the crosswalk where he allegedly plowed through last night at around 6:30 at Bonnie Bray and Olympic. And it was there when a mother was pushing a stroller carrying 2 young girls inside that stroller through that legal, well-marked crosswalk. A 1991 black Honda hit the stroller and the mother. An 11-month-old girl pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. A short time later, her 5-year-old sister in critical condition, but she is expected to survive. The mother has minor injuries. Other cars stopped at that crosswalk to allow them to go through, but not to the black Honda. It kept going until whoever was behind that wheel tried to abandon it at 12th and Figueroa. Now, this is surveillance video that we're going to show you right now from the LA Live Plaza. That's the Nokia Theater across from the Staples Center. The driver parks the car, gets out, and takes off running. That put the investigation, once the LAPD got to that vehicle, into high gear.
We have homicide detectives, central traffic detectives, rampart officers. They're all working together. They're all going to different locations. The registered owner's location, the last owner of the vehicle's location, trying to find out who is the owner of the vehicle.
Once again, 30-year-old Henry Moreno now in custody at Parker Center. He has been booked for vehicular manslaughter, allegedly responsible for killing a young girl, not even a year old. Live this morning in the Westlake District, I'm Robert Kovacic, today in LA.
Thanks, Robert. Police are trying to figure out what led to a police shootout at a strip mall in Chino. Officers were responding to a robbery in progress call at Central Avenue and Walnut Street when someone opened fire. An officer was hit, and at least 1 person was killed. Today in LA's John Caddy's Klimak is live in Chino with the latest. John?
Beverly, a very dangerous time last night, and now we're hearing that this investigation is going to take quite a few hours to kind of get underhand because they've got a lot of things they have to figure out here on the scene itself. In fact, some of the businesses in this area, in the strip mall area, are going to end up having to close for the day as investigators work on what they're working on here. Michelle is with us here with the city of Chino. You've been here all night watching what's going on. There's an officer that's been shot. Can you give us the details about that?
We're happy to report that the officer that was shot late last night is in stable condition.
And then we have 2 suspects that you guys believe are suspects that were also shot in a shootout with officers.
Yes, 2 suspects were shot. They were also taken from the scene and are receiving medical attention at this time. However, their medical status is unknown.
We also want to point out there is 1 person, in addition to these 3 that have been hit, that was shot and killed at the scene. Body's still here, waiting on the coroner. Tell me about that.
That's correct. There was another individual that was shot and killed here at the scene. Unfortunately, his participation in any crime, if there was any participation on his part, is unknown.
So this could have been an innocent bystander.
It is possible that he was an innocent bystander. That is under investigation.
If that's the case, I mean, how do you guys handle something like this? I mean, considering you've got, shots being fired, you got people walking around, is there some type of protocol you're supposed to be following?
It's going to be a lengthy investigation for that very reason. Several shots were fired, and it's going to take a lot of time to figure out where the bullets were coming from and who was doing the firing.
This all stems from a robbery.
That's correct.
Go into that for us.
At approximately 10:13 last night, the police department received a call at the dispatch saying that there was an armed robbery in progress at the Papa John's, which is behind us. And officers arrived on scene and were met by armed suspects who began shooting. And firing ensued on both parts, and injuries and, unfortunately, a death.
Can you tell us any information about the suspects themselves and whether or not you guys are looking for any more?
It appears that we have all of the suspects in hand, that all of them have been accounted for. Other than that, they're all male.
All right, thank you so much for talking to us and updating on that this morning. Again, the latest information coming out of Chino here is that we do have one officer that was shot in this, is expected to survive in the hospital, 2 suspects also in the hospital, and then one other person, a male, that we're still not sure whether or not they're involved with the robbery itself, whether it was an employee of the Papa John's or whether it was an innocent bystander who happened to be in the area. There were quite a few when this happened last night at 10:30. Information on that is still forthcoming, again, from the police department as they continue their investigation. We're live in Chino. I'm John Kedley-Sklimak today in LA.
All right, John, thanks. Time right now, 6:07. Police are looking for 2 suspects who shot an LAPD officer. Officer Anthony Razzo was shot and wounded on Saturday. Investigators say the off-duty officer was confronted by 2 teenagers outside of his home in City Terrace. Police say Razzo and one of the suspects struggled over his gun, and the weapon then fell to the ground. Now, that is when the second teenager picked up the gun and shot Razzo. The officer was hit in the right shoulder and is expected to recover. Police say the suspects got away in a green Toyota Camry.
Well, Long Beach police are searching for the person who killed a 76-year-old grandmother. The body of Liam Silvanassi was discovered in her Long Beach bedroom Saturday morning. Police say she had multiple stab wounds. The victim shared the home in the 1400 block of Peterson Avenue with relatives. Family members say they don't understand how anyone could hurt an elderly woman with such a loving spirit. An autopsy will be conducted in the next few days.
California's budget crisis has entered a new chapter. Lawmakers in Sacramento missed the February 1st budget deadline, and that means state tax refund checks will arrive late this year. Governor Schwarzenegger has put a hold on all outgoing payments, including tax refunds, student grant money, and refunds for state social programs. State lawmakers have been struggling to bridge a projected $42 billion budget deficit. They are set to meet again this morning. Meanwhile, the governor says he is moving forward with plans to furlough 200,000 state workers on Friday. Those workers are set to take the first of 2 unpaid days off this month. Now, the furloughs will continue every month until June of next year. The cutbacks will affect all state operations, including prisons and the Highway Patrol.
Well, this week, the Senate begins debate on its version of the economic stimulus package. President Obama is taking a hands-on approach to get the plan passed, but top Republicans say no chance unless hundreds of millions of dollars in spending proposals are scrapped. Brooke Hart is live in Washington with the latest. Good morning, Brooke.
Good morning, Bev. Might sound like Groundhog Day, the movie, in this stimulus debate, but President Obama says expect changes ahead in this Senate version. Aides say he is ready to sweet talk and twist arms, not just Republican arms, to get the stimulus passed.
President Obama hosted a bipartisan team of lawmakers to watch the Super Bowl, and increasingly he sounds like a referee in the stimulus debate, with NBC's Matt Lauer before the game.
We're going to be trimming out things that are not relevant to putting people back to work right now.
That's the key Republican demand.
So I think you have to start from scratch and reconstruct this.
Critics point to $300+ million in the Senate plan to prevent sexually transmitted diseases, $25 million to spruce up trails for ATVs. But more proposals add to the plan than subtract from it. GOP senators won their call to shield more Americans from the alternative minimum tax. That adds $70 billion to the cost. And Democrats seem open to adding a $15,000 tax credit for home buyers.
This will pass with Republican votes because it's a good package and because we will make some changes around the edges.
On the Obama cabinet front, Health and Human Services nominee Tom Daschle today goes to senators privately to ease concerns about his tax troubles. More than $100,000 he did not pay for a car and driver provided by a friend. Most lawmakers are holding back on whether the nomination is in jeopardy.
It may be. I want to find out more about it.
As early as today, the president could nominate Republican Senator Judd Gregg of New Hampshire as Commerce Secretary. That could edge Democrats toward a filibuster-proof majority in the Senate.
Even so, President Obama is expected to prod top Democrats toward a stimulus compromise when he meets with them at the White House this afternoon. His schedule this week is fluid, aides say, so he can step in and help get this measure passed. Live in Washington, I'm Brooke Hart for Today in L.A.
All right, Brooke, thanks. Time right now, 6:11. President Obama has given his strongest indication of a troop pullout from Iraq since taking office. In an interview with Matt Lauer, the president called the peaceful elections in Iraq good news for American troops and their families. He added that a substantial number of troops would be home a year from now. The president did not give further details, but he promised a formal briefing in the future on his administration's intentions in both Iraq and Afghanistan. He said he has been in contact with commanders on the ground in both areas.
Well, they were celebrating well into the night in Pittsburgh after the Steelers made a last-minute touchdown against the Cardinals to win the Super Bowl. Steelers fans jammed the streets to celebrate their 27-23 Super Bowl victory, their second one in 4 years and 6th overall. It was a party mood as the crowd lit small fires and set off fireworks. Despite a few minor problems, police say the fans were mostly well-behaved. Fred Rogan will have a full wrap-up of Super Bowl 43 in about 10 minutes.
Oh, what a great game it was. All right, let's take you back outside, give you a live look from News Chopper 4. It's over that problem there on the 10 westbound just past La Brea in the mid-city area of L.A. We're back in just 2.5 minutes with more details on this and other traffic troubles on this Monday morning. Time right now, 6:12. Be right back.
All right, time once again for your live drive 4D traffic. Oh, my. Look at this problem. Santa Monica Freeway westbound, right on La Brea Avenue. It's an accident. A vehicle spun out sideways in the right-hand lane. Flatbed tow truck is there. Right lane is completely shut down. Now, very heavy traffic westbound 10 Santa Monica Freeway. That is jammed solid all the way back into the East LA interchange. Tough drive through the mid-city area. Have some trouble on the Pasadena Freeway. This is westbound, right at Santa Anita on the 210. Stalled vehicle on the Santa Anita off-ramp. Starting to get some heavy traffic now on the westbound main lines of the freeway on the 210. And down in Irvine, northbound on the 405 San Diego Freeway, right before Beach Boulevard, vehicle fire. Most of that activity off onto the right-hand shoulder. Please be careful out there this morning. Let's check the weather. Here's the lead-up.
All right, thanks, Paul. 6:16 on a Monday morning. This morning, a beautiful live look at the downtown Los Angeles area, courtesy of our LAX cam, pointing in that direction. We are starting off this morning with mostly clear skies as far as temperature readings, neighborhood weather, courtesy of our friends at Weather Underground. 49 degrees right now in El Toloma, Hermosa Beach, checking in with 55, 42 degrees in Irvine, Malibu in the upper 60s. Radar and satellite indicating a few clouds approaching the LA and Ventura County coastline, but for the most part with that offshore flow, we're going to keep most of those clouds away, at least for the next couple of days. Eventually, by the middle of the week, that onshore flow returns. So we're anticipating a brief warm-up today with highs around the inland and valley locations in the low 80s. Windy conditions above the mountaintops of LA and Ventura County, and then some wetter days ahead. We've got a storm system brewing just south of the Aleutian Islands, and it'll eventually drop down into central and southern California toward the end of the week. Going to bring us some cold temperatures along with much needed rainfall Thursday and through Saturday. That's a look at your forecast. We'll have more coming up after the break.
Welcome back. The time right now is 6:19. For 30 years, the California African American Museum, known as CAM, has been exhibiting the history of African Americans throughout the West. Since February is Black History Month, the museum is also celebrating the present and the president. Today, LA's Chuck Henry takes us inside the museum there in Exposition Park.
As you enter the California African American Museum, the first thing you see is an exhibit paying tribute to the dreams of one man realized through the historic election of another. The museum has paired photos from the civil rights struggle of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to photos from Barack Obama's campaign.
We thought it was important for patrons to sort of get a sense that both of these men were born of the seedbed of the African American experience.
But the museum also stresses how other, perhaps lesser-known African Americans have impacted history. Remember the movie Easy Rider?
The two iconographic motorcycles, which are the Billy bike and the Captain America bike, ridden by Peter Fonda and Dennis Hopper, were designed and built by an African American here in South Central Los Angeles.
That was Ben Hardy. His role in the motorcycle culture of California became the genesis for this new exhibit called Black Chrome. 16 tricked-out bikes and walls of photo tell the story of the little-known African-American influence on motorcycle design and innovation. In fact, African-American motorcycle clubs have roared through California since 1940.
I have a PhD in history, and every day I would walk in to do more research in the storeroom, but I had no idea.
From photographic exhibits to motorcycle displays to works of modern-day African-American artists, the California African-American Museum has a history to tell, not just this month, but year-round.
The immersion in the gallery, I think, gives our youth, and I think generally Angelenos, a sense that we are not just a part of the mosaic, that we've been central to telling that story.
For Today in L.A., I'm Chuck Henry.
Thanks, Chuck. Paul Johnson checks traffic coming up next in about 2.5 minutes.
And here's a live look from News Chopper 4 over that trouble spot, the 10 westbound just past La Brea. Be right back. Time now, 6:22.
This is the NBC4 Sports Desk with Fred Rogan.
Hello again. It was a Super Bowl for the ages. Arizona Cardinals looked like they were finished, done after 3 quarters of play, only to come back and take the lead. But the Pittsburgh Steelers put together a stunning final drive to record their 6th Super Bowl.
This has been the NBC4 Sports Desk with Fred Rogan.
And at 6:26, Paul's checking out that problem on the 10.
Still clearing that problem in Mid-City. Santa Monica Freeway, Interstate 10. This is westbound, right at La Brea. Have that accident. Still have the right lane shut down. Or you're going to be in some very heavy traffic. There's slow down now, extending back toward the East LA interchange. Quick look at a problem on the 5, Golden State Freeway southbound, Magic Mountain Parkway. Accident there that is still being cleared to the right shoulder. So far, just a minor slowdown on the Golden State Freeway. Please be careful out there this morning. All right, let's check the weather. Here's Alita coming up for you. Got some changes coming. Little rain on the way, I understand.
Yes, we do, Paul. Right now, we've got mostly clear skies. You can see a beautiful view courtesy of our downtown cam right in front of the DWP building. Beautiful fountains there. Beginning to see mostly clear skies as you head outside the door. Nice cool readings. But by this afternoon, about 10 degrees warmer along the coastline today with an offshore flow returning momentarily. And then we're going to see those temperatures taking a little bit of a drop by Wednesday as that onshore flow returns. And then we've got some wet weather Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend. Most of that wet weather should exit our area by Sunday morning. We do have the chance for some snow, lowering about the 6,000-foot level Thursday, and then eventually Friday into Saturday, that snow level above 4,500 feet. Back to you, Chris and Beverly.
All right, thanks so much, Alita. Looking live once again from News Chopper 4, flying over the 10 West, just past La Brea. More news. We believe that's the 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is the 10, and it's a big UGG. All that backup.
Big parking lot. More news in 2.5 minutes.
Live from NBC4. This is Today in LA.
Good morning. It's Monday, February 2nd. I'm Beverly White. Jennifer Bjorklund has the morning off.
And I'm Chris Schaubel. Happy Monday to you. This post-Super Bowl Monday. Alita, how's it shaping up?
Oh, a beautiful start out there. Nice cool readings on this Monday morning. Back to the grind. Some of us a little bit more sluggish than others. Staying up watching that Super Bowl game. All right, we've got Venice Beach Cam this morning and looking mostly clear. As we take a quick shot at the radar and satellite, you can see that the composite is showing much of the cloud cover approaching the coast is staying well offshore. What we will be dealing with for today are those offshore winds, and those winds will be picking up, especially in some of our higher elevation communities, LA and Ventura County, under a wind advisory, also including Santa Clarita Valley, at least through 3 o'clock this afternoon, for sustained winds between 15 to 30 miles an hour and wind gusts up to 45. This afternoon, with that offshore flow, we'll see temperatures about 10 degrees warmer than yesterday in the upper 70s for this afternoon's highs, low 80s downtown and in the valleys. Mountain communities today, highs in the mid 50s. Meanwhile, desert spots, some of the warmest desert areas in the upper 70s to low 80s. And get ready, latter part of the week, we're talking chance for some rain across Southern California.
So just enjoy the next few days.
Correct.
Alita, thanks.
All right, thank you, Alita. Let's check in now on the morning drive with Paul Johnson.
And still a struggle on that 10 Santa Monica Freeway in Mid-City. This is westbound. Interstate 10 at La Brea is still clearing this accident problem out of the right-hand lane. Tow trucks are there. CHP at the scene. Very heavy traffic now. That westbound side of the Santa Monica Freeway, the 10 slows back beyond the Harbor Freeway. That is slowing back into the East LA interchange. Have a little trouble out in Valencia, southbound on the 5. Golden State Freeway, this is right at Magic Mountain Parkway. Have an accident there. Now, the vehicles involved are in the center divider. Starting to get some heavy traffic now on the southbound Golden State Freeway. Please be careful. Don't forget to buckle that seatbelt. All right, let's go back to Beverly.
Thanks, Paul. Surveillance video helped police find and arrest a suspect in the hit-and-run death of an 11-month-old girl. The impact also critically injured the girl's 5-year-old sister and left the mother injured as well. Today in LA's Robert Kovacic is live in Westlake with the very latest. Robert?
The LAPD worked quickly, making that arrest just 5 hours after the accident happened. The man now in custody is 30-year-old Henry Moreno of Southgate. He was arrested very close to where the scene happened, and investigators still very active at that scene early this morning. This is video we shot around 4:30 this morning, and that is at the intersection of Bonnie Bray and Olympic. Now, detectives from Central Traffic here at the scene. This video taken just about the same time that Moreno was booked. He was taken into custody at James Woods and Bonnie Bray. Now that is just 1 block from that crosswalk where he allegedly plowed through last night around 6:30. It was there when a mother was pushing a stroller. Inside that one stroller, she was carrying 2 young girls through that legal, well-marked crosswalk. And then a 1991 black Honda hit the stroller and the mother, an 11-month-old girl pronounced dead at a nearby hospital, her 5-year-old sister in critical condition, but she will survive her injuries. The mother escaped with just minor injuries. Other cars did stop at that crosswalk, but not that black Honda. It just kept going until whoever was behind the wheel tried to abandon it at 12th and Figueroa, and that's where the surveillance video comes in. Let's take a look at that again. This is from the LA Live Plaza. That's the Nokia Theater across from Staples Center. The driver parks the car. It's tough to see, but then he gets out and takes off running, and that put the investigation in a high gear.
We have homicide detectives, central traffic detectives, rampart officers. They're all working together. They're all going to different locations. The registered owner's location, the last owner of the vehicle's location, trying to find out who is the owner of the vehicle.
That hit and run happened at 6:30 last night. 30-year-old Henry Moreno arrested at 11:30 last night, now in custody at Parker Center. And at around 4:30 this morning, we understand he was booked for vehicular manslaughter, allegedly responsible for killing a young girl, not even a year old. Live this morning in the Westlake District, I'm Robert Kovacic, today in LA.
All right, Robert, thanks. Time right now is 6:35. Police in Chino are trying to confirm the ID of a person killed during an officer-involved shooting in Chino. 3 others were hurt in the crossfire, including an officer. Today in LA's John Caddy's Cleanback live now in Chino with the latest details. Good morning, John.
Hey, good morning, Chris. Now the sun's starting to rise over Chino. We can kind of give you a little bit better view as to the landscape here. This road here, by the way, is going to be closed off. This is Century. Going to be closed off while they continue their investigation. Behind me, you can see the flashing lights over there. That McDonald's will remain closed today. It's right in front of a strip mall that includes a Papa John's. That's where the robbery happened last night. We'll take you to the video from last night to show you what was going on. Around 10:30 is when police got the call that something was happening here. When they got here, they found 2 armed suspects. We're being told that a shootout happened. Those 2 suspects were shot. They were taken to the hospital. Their conditions are unknown at this time. An officer was also shot. That officer in stable condition at the hospital, expected to be just fine. But then there was also a 4th person who was also shot. That person shot fatally. We're being told that the body of that person, a man, is still on the scene. They're still waiting for the coroner's office to come out. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office is investigating the shooting that happened here. We spoke to a witness last night who said that when he was walking by, he heard an awful lot of gunshots.
I was walking down from the gas station where my fiance works, and I got about by this pizza place, and I started hearing gunfire, and I looked over, I started running over towards this corner, and I seen there's one guy who got shot in the head and face down right over by the south side of this Daniel store, and another guy got shot apparently, but I guess they were robbing that pizza place.
Now, this being an officer-involved shooting now, this will take quite some time to get it all under investigation. You know, they've been working on this since 10:30 last night, and we're being told that it could take upwards of 20 hours before they're able to wrap up that investigation here. Once again, an officer shot in the hospital in stable condition. 2 suspects also shot in the hospital. Their conditions unknown. And 1 more person, not sure whether it was a passerby or somebody inside the Papa John's itself, or if it's another suspect as part of this crime, shot fatally. The investigation continues this morning. We can tell you that police have now said that they're pretty certain that they're no longer looking for any more suspects. We're live in Chino. I'm John Kelly Klimak today in L.A.
Thanks, John. Police say a helicopter carrying rocker Tommy Lee was forced to land after coming too close to an LAPD helicopter. Investigators say Lee's chopper was flying erratically and veered too close to a police chopper over Glendale yesterday. The pilot was ordered to land at the Van Nuys Airport. Once on the ground, police say the pilot was taken to the Van Nuys station and later released. Investigators say Tommy Lee was just a passenger on board the helicopter and had nothing to do with the situation.
U.S. Olympic swimming champion Michael Phelps says a tabloid image that apparently shows him smoking marijuana was the result of, quote, bad judgment, end quote. The British tabloid News of the World published this picture yesterday. Now, the newspaper says the picture was taken during a November house party while Phelps was visiting the University of South Carolina. In a statement, Phelps confirmed that the picture is authentic. He says he acted in a, quote, youthful and inappropriate way and promised it will never happen again, end quote. The 23-year-old won a record 8 gold medals at the Beijing Olympics over the summer. It is unlikely Phelps will lose any of his medals, but some sponsors could decide to drop the 23-year-old from their ad campaigns. The U.S. Olympic Committee issued this statement, again, quote, we are certainly disappointed in Michael's behavior. Our Olympic champions are role models who are looked up to by people of all ages, especially young athletes who have their own aspirations and dreams.
Now we're looking live from News Chopper right now over the 10 freeway. That accident we showed you at La Brea has cleared, but look at that backup. We'll check traffic next in 2 minutes. Time right now is 6:39.
All right, time once again for your live Drive 40 traffic. Now, the earlier accident on that Santa Monica Freeway westbound at La Brea is cleared, but look at the backup from that accident. Very heavy from La Brea all the way back beyond the Harbor Freeway. That traffic slows back into the East LA interchange. Tough drive through Mid-City on that Santa Monica Freeway. Have some trouble on the 405 southbound San Diego Freeway. Now, this is right at the Ventura Freeway. Accident there, a couple of vehicles involved. Now, that is still clearing. Very heavy traffic all the way back to the 118, the Ronald Reagan Freeway. So please, be careful. Don't forget to buckle that seatbelt. And when you change lanes, please use that turn signal. All right? Let's go back to Chris.
Always good advice, Paul. Thanks. Time right now, 6:42. Apparently, it's going to be an extra long winter. Maybe not for us, but for other folks across the country, at least according to Punxsutawney Phil. The groundhog made its annual prediction today in Pennsylvania. Legend has it, if he sees his shadow, which he did, we will have 6 more weeks of winter. So what about our weather? Alita, you can't tell me it's going to be an extra long winter here.
Well, we're talking about some winter-type conditions by the end of the week, but for the first half of the week, Chamber of Commerce-type weather, some summertime heat, a brief warm-up today and tomorrow before those temperatures start to drop back by the middle of the week. Right now, we've got a beautiful live look at the downtown area under mostly clear skies. Checking in with some of our observation sites with neighborhood weather, 65 degrees right now in Fontana. Huntington Beach, 44 where you are. Nice cool start. Maybe grab that sweater as you head outside the door. 51 in Marina Del Rey, 42 in Pasadena. We do have some winds to talk about for this afternoon. We have a wind advisory for the LA and Ventura County mountains, including the Santa Clarita Valley, at least through 3 o'clock this afternoon. As I'd mentioned, a brief warm up with some offshore winds. But by the middle of the week, that onshore flow returns, and we are going to be opening the doorways for some rain in the forecast. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Best chance of that rain showing up Friday into Saturday across Southern California. But for today, we'll keep things nice and warm, nice and dry. Highs in the upper 70s to low 80s along the coast. Malibu, 70 degrees there, 73 in Santa Monica. Staying nice and cool for the Antelope Valley with highs today in the upper 60s, upper 70s in Thousand Oaks. We'll take a closer look at your 7-day coming up in just a bit. Back to you, Beverly.
Thanks, Alita. Students and faculty at one Southern California State College campus plan to send a message to Governor Schwarzenegger later this morning. They say planned budget cuts are hurting their education. Funding for higher education is already affecting the Cal State and University of California systems. So this morning, protesters will gather at Cal State Dominguez Hills. They will hold a rally calling on Governor Governor Schwarzenegger to stop the budget cuts.
And at 6:44, let's check your money.
The Dow already down triple digits. CNBC's Bob Pisani is live at the New York Stock Exchange. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Chris and Beverly, and we're dropping again here today. And what's the problem? Well, the problem is, first, the markets can't quite figure out what the stimulus plan is going to look like. That's because the Congress is still working on it. We also have issues about executive compensation. Remember, this TARP plan, the $350 billion second half of this plan is going to be distributed in the next couple of months, and there's going to be conditions put on it, particularly about money that financial institutions are going to receive. There's going to be some limits on what they can accept. There's also going to be limits on executive compensation. They're working that out. And the street doesn't know what it's going to look like. The other problem, of course, is the earnings season is very weak, and the numbers and the guidance has been fairly poor. You want a good example? Look what happened to Mattel. Now, Mattel's the big toy company, right? They get about half of their sales overseas. Overseas sales were down 20%. Barbie sales were down 21%. Hot Wheels sales were down 21%. Now, some of the problems, interestingly, are due to foreign exchange. So the dollar is strong. When you bring back profits from overseas with a strong dollar, you just get less money overall. So even the strong dollar is working against the profits for some of these companies. Other firms are also generally reporting international sales are weak here. So the bottom line is this: we've got to get clear indication of what's going on with the stimulus package. And frankly, we're just going to have to deal with a couple of months of really poor earnings reports and poor economic news. There's no way around that right now. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you so much. Once again, let's take you outside, give you a live look from News Chopper 4. This, of course, LAX. Be back in just a couple of minutes. Time right now, 6:46.
Welcome back at 6:48. The octuplets born 1 week ago today at Kaiser Permanente Bellflower are all reportedly breathing on their own. A statement released yesterday by the hospital says all 8 babies are being tube-fed donated breast milk. They're also receiving an intravenous nutritional supplement. The mother, 33-year-old Nadia Suleiman, is also in good condition. She's expected to be released from Kaiser in the next few days. Doctors say the babies will remain at the hospital for at least a month.
Several L.A. police officers accused of committing perjury in a drug case are now being investigated by the FBI. The L.A. Times says investigators are looking into the 2007 arrest of Guillermo Alarcon Jr. Alarcon's lawyer says he believes his client was framed by the officers who took him into custody. Drug charges against Alarcon were abruptly dropped during his trial last year when jurors viewed a surveillance tape that directly contradicted police testimony. The officers have denied doing anything wrong. The L.A. County DA's office and the LAPD are also investigating this case.
Well, new contract talks between the Screen Actors Guild and producers are expected to resume tomorrow with some new players in place. The two sides are sitting down for the first time since SAG changed its negotiating team. Last week, SAG members elected a more moderate board and fired their chief negotiator. The moderate faction pushed for more negotiations rather than authorizing a strike vote. They doubted they would get the required 75%, weakening their own bargaining position. The agreement between the Actors Union and the producers expired last June.
The Southern California Gas Company has now reached a tentative agreement with a union representing nearly 5,000 workers. The move averts a possible strike that could have started as early as today. Union officials say the tentative contract deal includes a 3-step wage increase of more than 10%. Now, it also preserves workers' pension plans and sick time benefits. The current contract was extended to February the 28th. That is when the tentative agreement can be ratified. Now, the gas company serves about 20 million customers throughout Southern California.
And just ahead, we will update this morning's top stories.
Once again, a live look from News Chopper 4. It's above the 405. This is southbound at Howard Hughes. Be right back with traffic in just 2 minutes. Time now, 6:50.
Time for your live drive 4D traffic. 405 freeway. Now, this is southbound La Tijera Boulevard. Have a multi-vehicle accident. Now, that has shut down the 2 right-hand lanes. Very heavy traffic now back beyond the Marina Freeway. Look at northbound. A lot of spectators slowed out on that northbound side as well. More trouble on the 405. Looking down in Sherman Oaks, southbound of the 405, right at the Ventura Freeway. Accident there with a couple of vehicles involved. Now, that is still clearing. But look at the slowdown. Traffic jam solid all the way back to the 118, the Ronald Reagan Freeway. Trouble on the 405. Be careful. Don't forget to buckle that seatbelt. Let's check some weather changes coming up. Here's Alita.
All right, a slight warm up for today, and then we're looking at some wet weather by the end of the week. Some windy conditions as well this afternoon for parts of the Southland. Right now, we take you outside the LAX area. Looking pretty nice right now under mostly clear conditions. Temperature readings generally in the 50s. We do have a wind advisory at least through 3 o'clock this afternoon for LA and Ventura County mountains, excluding the Santa Monica Range. Santa Clarita Valley also within this wind advisory. Sustained winds this morning and through the afternoon between 15 to 30 miles an hour and wind gusts up to 45. Today's highs in the upper 70s along the coast. We'll stay in the low 80s downtown and in the valleys today and tomorrow before we start to see more of a marine influence by Wednesday. So that area of high pressure that will keep us nice and dry, nice and warm today and tomorrow will finally weaken. And that's going to open the doorways for some rain. I think the best chance of seeing some heavier pockets of rain will be Thursday night into Friday and then Saturday with a secondary system. So each day we'll make sure we update. But some significant rainfall, maybe 1 inch to 2 inches, some of our coastal valley locations up to 2.5 inches of rain in some of our south-facing slopes.
Hopefully we'll get it. We need it, but not just too much. It's a delicate balance. All right,
Yes.
Alita, thank you so much. Time right now, 6:54. Here are the top stories today in LA.
Good morning. I'm Robert Kovalsik in the Westlake District. Hours after an 11-month-old girl is killed in a hit-and-run, a suspect is in custody. 30-year-old Henry Moreno arrested just 1 block from where it happened. The fatal accident occurred at the intersection of Bonnie Bray and Olympic at 6:30 last night. A mother was pushing a stroller carrying 2 young girls through that legal, well-marked crosswalk. A 1991 black Honda hit the stroller and the mother. An 11-month-old girl pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. Her 5-year-old sister in critical condition, but she will survive. The mother with minor injuries. Other cars stopped at that crosswalk to let them pass, but not that black Honda. It kept going until whoever was behind the wheel tried to abandon it at 12th and Figueroa. This is surveillance video from the LA Live Plaza at the Nokia Theater across from Staples Center. The driver parks the car, gets out, and runs away. That puts the investigation into high gear.
We have homicide detectives, central traffic detectives, rampart officers. They're all working together. They're all going to different locations. The registered owner's location, the last owner of the vehicle's location, trying to find out who is the owner of the vehicle.
Henry Moreno arrested at Bonnie Bray and James Woods last night at 11:30, now in custody at Parker Center. Around 4:30 this morning, he was booked for vehicular manslaughter. Live this morning in the Westlake District, I'm Robert Kovalsik, today in LA.
Detectives in Los Angeles are searching for 2 teenagers suspected of shooting an off-duty LAPD officer outside his City Terrace home on Saturday. Investigators say the teens confronted the officer, got a hold of his gun during a struggle, and shot him. Police say the suspects got away in a green Toyota Camry. The officer is expected to recover.
Good morning, I'm John Kathy's Klimak live in Chino. Another officer-involved shooting to tell you about. But first, I want to point out where we are on Century Avenue. The road has been closed off from Riverside down there all the way to Walnut over here. You can see where the traffic has been coming through here. They've got some cones set up here. This is going to be a problem for anyone using this area to get to work or school this morning. We'll take you the video from overnight and show you what was going on. Around 10:30 last night is when police got the call that there was a robbery at a Papa John's. It's part of a strip mall in this area. Once police got here, we're being told that a shootout happened. Officers with the suspects. 2 suspects shot, taken to the hospital. Their conditions are unknown. 1 officer shot, taken to the hospital. He is in stable condition. We spoke with one of the officers here on site who's telling us that this will be a lengthy investigation.
A lot of shots fired, a lot of activity took place, and it's up to the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office to track it all down.
Now, part of that investigation that's still unclear is how a 4th person was shot. That person shot and killed here on site. Police still unable to determine how they may or may not be involved with the robbery itself. We're live in Chino. I'm John Kathy's Klimak, today in LA.
John, thanks. California lawmakers missed the February 1st state budget deadline. That could mean a delay in state tax refund checks. Governor Schwarzenegger has frozen all outgoing state payments, including funds for tax refunds, social programs, and student grants. The governor says he is also going forward with plans to furlough 200,000 state workers. Those furloughs are set to start this Friday. State lawmakers are struggling to bridge a projected $42 billion budget shortfall.
That's just about all our time. A last quick look at weather, if you don't mind.
Some windy, warm conditions today, and then rain by the end of the week.
Oh, look forward to that.
Thank you so much. You're looking live from downtown. What a beauty shot of the U.S. Bank Tower and our lovely skyline on this rising sunrise Monday morning.
Today's show is next. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, 5 a.m.